I got my Amazon internship and my full-time offer. I had my resume up and so a recruiter messages me, can we have like a phone call, a phone screen? I felt good about it. After it ended, I was like, okay, I'm totally getting a job. I'm a systems engineer in a different team. Hey guys, today it's story time about how I got my Amazon internship and my full-time offer for those who may be curious about it. So I'm going to tell you the story of how I got my internship and then my full-time job and getting paid good 6 figures. But I'm also going to tell you like the tips and tricks of navigating a tech job. So I hope you enjoy. By the way, I did go through university. I had an engineering degree and then I started working full-time at Amazon. But there are other ways to get into the company or other tech companies. And one of those ways is doing a coding bootcamp, which some of my friends do and have gotten a job in tech. So my story started out, I think, in March, which was spring semester, the year before I graduated college. I had put up my resume on some websites. Couple of things here. Do put your resume online on some recognized websites where recruiters do check. But then don't put your resume everywhere, and definitely keep your personal information personal. So if you have your email address listed, you don't want your name and your address and your email and your phone number to be available for everyone on the web, because there are bad actors out there trying to just cheat people out of their personal information and their money. So don't make everything available. Like, just put in your zip code, not your whole address. And sure, you have to kind of put your phone number, or you could decide not to. That's fine, if it's going up on these websites. But put an email address that you do use and check to correspond with people who might email you for jobs, recruiters. But don't use the same email for everything, such as your financial institutions. So I had my resume up and so a recruiter messages me. She emails me. She's like, hey, saw your resume, looks great. Would love to have a chat with you about, interning at Amazon, about an intern position. Can we have like a phone call, a phone screen? And then you can go on to like a second round of interviews with engineers who'd be on the team working with you. And then we'll decide if you're fit for the internship or not. So I'm excited. I didn't even know Amazon hired hardware development. And so I was like excited. I thought it was a completely software company. I thought it was only Amazon.com. Then I see how many big businesses there are. Big being AWS, Alexa, Prime, Amazon.com business, the retail site, and then there are several other businesses like Amazon Go, which I was a part of. It's physical retail. So there are several segments of the business, and that's why the stock is the value that it is at, for example. And I could talk about stock investment too, because Amazon did give me stocks when I joined as a full-time. I'm just skipping ahead and telling you this. But because of that, I got into stocks and I started buying other stocks. So I get on a phone call with this lady. She's nice. I told her, it's usually these calls, phone screens are just for going over your resume. It's just kind of the recruiter trying to see if you can back up the things you're saying on your resume. So they just ask you, tell me a little bit about yourself. And so I'm like, oh yeah, I'm a third-year engineering student at USC. I am involved in the school in these ways. I was the design chair at this group. My research experience with the biodynamics lab at USC and my internship experience with an aerospace company last summer and things like that. And she's like, oh, very cool. This sounds great. So I was able to show her that I can have a conversation, for example, which is some of the things that you will do at your job, right? So communication is important. So I think with that information, she went back. She's like, okay, great. We can give you a second round interview, which will be kind of the decision of whether or not I'll get the internship. So I was actually not sure if I would get the second call. I wasn't sure about how my phone went, but she emails this and lets me know. She's like, oh, it was great. Because normally on a phone call, they don't give you any feedback. In email, they don't give you feedback either, but they give you the decision on emails usually. So she emails me, hey, we can do a second round interview. I was like, whoa, that's cool. I thought I did not do well on the phone interview that we had, so I'm happy. Now I get to talk to 2 people from the team. I think I had still phone calls, but it was like a a female engineer and then a male engineer. So I talked to both of them. So that was my second round interview. I had two meetings essentially, and so we were talking about like, oh, like what's your experience with manufacturing, and what's your experience with, you know, measuring tolerances or materials like sheet metal, plastics, die casting, things like that. We had that conversation because again, this is a hardware engineering job, and so I thought I did well. I thought I gave him a lot about like my high school education, well, not high school, but my college education experience in using CAD software and different things. And, you know, I answered those like behavioral engineering questions that have, oh, tell me about a time where you achieved something more than someone's expectation or something. And, you know, as a college student, you can answer that question just using classroom examples or internship examples. And so I did, and I felt good about it. After it ended, I was like, okay, I'm totally getting a job. Lady emails me and tells me I didn't get the internship. Honestly, I was shocked because I thought I did well. This lady emailed me to start with, okay? And then now, 2, 3, 4 weeks later, after I went through this experience, I had high hopes about getting this internship that I didn't know existed. They tell me no for reasons that I don't even understand because I thought I did well. A little sad. And so I thought about it. I was like, oh, what's the best thing to do here? And so this was literally the trajectory changing in my life. Okay, this is what I did. I looked up how to send rejection, like a response to a rejection letter. So I looked it up and it said, hey, like be cordial, be nice, like talk about the positive experience that you had. And keep it short, don't make it too long, don't make it too short. I read 3 websites, some of the top Google search results. And then I was like, okay, that's enough research, because sometimes it can be an analysis paralysis where we just continue just researching something forever. So I looked up 3 websites and then I started writing my email. This is the email that changed my life, really, I think, okay? I write to the lady about how great it was to talk to these 2 engineers at Amazon, how it actually cemented my interest in working in tech and in a company like Amazon, and that I enjoyed talking to her the whole time as well. You know, you were great. Thank you for the prompt responses and scheduling the meetings. I really appreciated the time. And that's really all I said. I sent a thank you email. And then I think it was a Friday when I wrote that email. By Monday, or I think the next Friday, I don't remember, the lady emails me back, the recruiter, and she's like, hey Lena, I have an internship for you. This is what she said to me. I took your resume around shopping to different teams who are hiring interns. And there's this team in Seattle, an Amazon Go team that wants a hardware engineer and are offering you the position. I was ecstatic. I was very happy. Wow, okay, this lady kind of turned around, literally shopping my resume around to different teams, trying to find my team. Like, that must have been a powerful email, in my opinion, because I have never seen this from a rejection letter. Honestly, I have not seen this after that either, you know, because I think it's just the whole process. I like built some rapport with the lady, just how, honestly, good of an employee I could be. That's really all that it is. I didn't like not email her. I didn't send her a short thank you email. I didn't like send her anything nasty, definitely. I didn't like say, no, you should reconsider me because this. I just sent her a really nice thank you letter. And she said I was gonna get paid, I don't think I'm supposed to say this, but let's say over 20K for the summer. Obviously, I was very ecstatic, shared the news with my family. They were so happy for me. I started in May, and so I worked from like May to August. It's just a 3-month internship. And I think I did fine. I learned a lot, you know, working at Amazon, because it really is a cool company. I really enjoy their leadership principles. There are these things called leadership principles at Amazon. If you're not familiar, you should absolutely make yourself familiar with it, whether or not you work at Amazon, honestly, or whether or not you're trying to work at Amazon, because you don't get a job at Amazon not having good work ethic to begin with. But I learned so much in my internship experience as a professional, but also as someone who's an immigrant going to the American workforce, because promise you, I would do some ridiculous things like walking behind the guys after lunch, because I just had this thing about authority and I should respect them, and one of the ways I could respect them is by walking behind them. I didn't feel like I could just walk up with them, you know, really didn't feel right to me. But you know, by the end of my internship, I kind of just sort of became more American at work too. And I did, you know, presentation at the end of my internship, and they gave me a full-time offer. They told me at the last day of work, I believe. I was so happy because now I get to make over 6 figures. So my starting salary, I again don't know if I'm supposed to say this, but it was easily, I think 106K per year, and the stocks were almost just about as much as the base pay itself. But Amazon pay structure, if you're not familiar, please let me know. I can make a video on that and how your stocks vest, because they don't give you all your stock money at once. They give it to you over 4 years. And the way they give it to you is like 5% the first year, 15% the second year, and then 20% 6 months, every 6 months. So for the last 2 years. So your stocks mostly vest around the later time of your stay at Amazon. And so I got my full-time job right after the end of my internship. I was very happy, and I started full-time after finishing the last semester that I had at USC. I went on to actually work as a hardware development engineer for 2 years, and then I changed teams because I found out something called AWS and I wanted to work more with it. So I switched and became a systems engineer in a different team, and I can talk to you about that transition because it's not the easiest. You can't just say, hey, I want to be a systems engineer now. It's basically an art to it. And then after that, I also became a solutions architect for 6 months, which I did not like, to be honest with you, and I could tell you about my experience with it as well. But yeah, that's in short sort of my like 4.5 years at Amazon crunched into 1 minute at the end of this video. Thanks for watching.